And the Brighton striker, João Pedro, was fortunate to avoid a red card for seemingly attempting to elbow Brentford's Yahel Yarmouk during their goalless draw last night. The two managers disagreed on the decision not to send Pedro off. Let's first hear from the Bees boss, Thomas Frank.
As I understand the rules, you can't swing your arm to try to hit someone. If you hit them or not, it's a red. That's the way I understand the rules. But they haven't seen the situation.
OK, that's what Thomas Frank had to say. Here's the Brighton manager, Fabian Hürzeler, with a different view.
Interesting opinion. I see it completely different. No, for me, it's not a red card. Why a red card? You played football once? Yeah, you know what happens in this situation? You try to get free, or?
OK, that's what Hürzeler made of it. Cass, I know we spoke about it earlier on, but new listeners might be just tuning in. What did you think? Which side of the argument do you stand on? Red or not?
Oh, well, what, for Pedro?
Yeah.
Absolute red. There's no no debate for me, Nat.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can justify that behaviour, and because you didn't make contact, look, that's not a red card. It is. If you lashed out with your foot or lashed out with your fist, he's done it with his elbow, and an elbow is a dangerous thing to do.
Now, I know Mark Clattenburg on Amazon Prime last night was saying that it can't retrospectively be looked at because VAR forensically looked at it. But is that one of those incidents when it should be retrospectively looked at?
Yeah, why not? Why not? It's quite clear. I even think within VAR, and there'll be a lot of people who are involved with the refereeing association would look at that, and I'm sure there's a number of referees would say, that has to be a red.
Yeah,
I don't see how it couldn't. The argument of defending it to say, what was the line you used earlier, Nat, when you said it's when he... What
Mark Clattenburg said.
Yeah, what was it said?
Well,
what was the line
first of all, he said that the reason it wasn't a red was because no contact was made. Well, that's actually incorrect.
No,
that's not the law.
Right. Yeah.
But then he said it was gesturing towards the referee, Andy
gesturing.
Madley. Probably gesturing because he was annoyed by being fouled. That's what he was alluding
No
to.
way is that gesturing.
No. It certainly looked as though he was frustrated.
He didn't know where the player was. As the first challenge happened, he then continues, and yes, it's a foul against him, but on the second incident, he's clearly moved his elbow to get...
It's a swing. He's
swing his elbow. He doesn't know where the player is. It could easily have hit him. And it was a deliberate.
Yes, I think that's, it does look like that. And I'm not sure how Mark Clattenburg can make the assumption of, well, I think he's just gesturing to the referee.
No.
Gesturing in terms of, I'm annoyed, look, I've had to sort of wrestle the guy off, I think is what he's trying to allude to. But that's an assumption made by a referee, and I'm not sure you can do that, really.
No,
that being said, just to clarify the letter of the law as to why Thomas Frank was talking about it, he said, this is the law, violent conduct is when a player uses or attempts to use excessive force or brutality against an opponent, regardless of whether contact is made. So contact is not relevant when Mark Clattenburg was trying to defend the VAR decision to not tell Andy Madley to go and look at the screen. It's an interesting one. Like I said, a lot of people on social media certainly thinking it should have been a red from what I've seen, but I'm sure there'll be others that disagree with that. And because he didn't make contact and because it's just an air elbow, that it wasn't a red card. But and you will agree with what the referees came to in that decision-making process. But not the only sort of contentious red card over the Boxing Day fixtures. One of those was Aston Villa, who say they are shocked and disappointed after the FA rejected their appeal against John Duran's red, meaning the striker will now serve a 3-match ban. This was in their defeat to Newcastle, where he did sort of land, shall we say, on top of Fabian Schär with his, some say it's a stamp. You make of that what you will. Two of talkSPORT's top Brummie presenters, Troy Deeney and Gabby Agbonlahor, both discuss what happened on Mid-Morning and Drive, respectively. So here are their takes. Let's start with Troy.
Listen, there's somebody that may have left a stud or two in on purpose. You know, he could, because the thing is, your foot wouldn't have fouled straight; it would have fouled on the side. So right. if your ankle goes that way, your foot goes that way. If you get what I mean?
Yeah.
His
went straight down
and carried on through. He knew what he was doing, and the best part about it is how quick he tried to help him up. If you'd fouled, it was an accident.
Yeah.
You'd be looking at your feet. Your natural response is to look back where you fell.
Okay.
He looked straight at shot.
Why not wait? Let's hear what VAR say. Go and look at the screen yourself. Slow it down if you want to, whatever. It's going to look worse. Show it at full speed, and you would have says, I can't tell 100% he's meant to do that. Simple as that, mate. No one could phone in anywhere say that was 100% on purpose from John Duran. Because he's a hothead, people say, hothead. Yes, he might have a little bit of a temper on him. He's been given a red card because of that.
So very different views on that red card decision. Cass?
I'm with Gabby. I thought it, and we've just talked at length about Pedro and that incident, but I think it's one of them, he can't really get his feet out of the way. As Fabian Schär goes underneath him, he's trying to put his foot down. Now, I'm not sure you want to put your foot down at the side of someone where you might roll your ankle or something, he's off balance.
I sort of do agree with you as well. I feel it was a bit like Bambi on ice.
Yeah.
His legs are splitting, and his left ankle is rolling. So to compensate, he's trying to, he doesn't want to injure his left ankle, so he's trying to compensate his weight onto the right. Where else can he put it? Unfortunately, he goes on top of Fabian Schär. I mean, look, I know the word intent and deliberate has been taken out of the laws a lot, so you can argue that that's not relevant, but it just doesn't feel as though it was a red card, for me anyway. No. And when you have, like we're saying, just been speaking about the João Pedro situation, which was so blatant as he's trying to hurt an opponent. It's just that he missed. That one, to me, the Duran one, looks just like he's losing his balance more than anything else.
Yeah. And Troy's been great, by the way, when he's been on.
Oh, yeah.
He's really come on and give a different viewpoint on lots of different stuff and been really interesting. But Troy's been in that position himself, like I've been in that position where you get entangled and a defender goes underneath you. And he interprets in it that John Duran is knowing where he's putting his feet, and his reaction tells you that it's, he tries to straight away, I'm sorry, I'm in it. I think his reaction was he clearly didn't want to try and land his foot on him, because he plants his foot on Schär, doesn't he, on top. I think it's purely accidental.
It's interesting, isn't it? We just had text in here. No way, he's moved his foot midair to make contact. Red card all day long.
Well, I didn't see that. I think he moves his foot because if he lands his foot and it's awkward, you can hurt yourself seriously. And I think he's tried to avoid serious injury and also tried to not contact too much with Schär as he's put his foot down. You'd see the grimace in someone's face, or, you'd really know by his foot position that he's deliberately stamped on him. I think he's just landed that way, and he's trying to make light contact.
That's, in all fairness, that's what I thought. When I first saw the incident, I thought, I don't understand why this has been even considered. I just thought it was a bit harsh. But listen, everyone's seeing it differently.
Yeah, I know.
That is the difficulty of, I suppose, decision making for officials, because we all have different opinions on it. Marcus in Aylesbury, please give up on this red card for Pedro. If he wanted to hit him, he would have done. Purely a gesture. Move on. That's what he says. I mean, I think that's big garbage, Marcus, because even if it's purely a gesture, it's still a violent conduct gesture, and it should be deemed a red. That's what the letter of the law says. Well,
if you're going to say okay to the elbow, any swing of a punch, any lash out of a kick and misses, you can say it's just a gesture.
I know. I'm not sure.
Can't do
that's
that.
not a good defence, really. No. Anyhow, we will do our best to move on. But this is, as I say, the beauty of football. We can still have our debates, even with the introduction of VAR, which was meant to take away some of it, so people suggested. But no, there's a lot of subjectivity still involved.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.